Welcome back to the Before AGI podcast, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of AI. I'm really excited to explore how it's impacting our lives, like where it's heading, and what it all means for us, for us tech enthusiasts.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast AI is going from just like a concept to like a reality. And it's already a bigger part of our lives than we probably realize.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. We've got a ton of articles and research and even some social media discussions that we're going to be going over today. So what's the first thing that jumps out at you?
I think just how much AI is already in our daily routines. Like, think about it. You probably use AI every day without even realizing it.
Really? Give me an example.
Well, like when you're on Netflix or Amazon and you get those personalized recommendations, that's AI at work. And it's not just entertainment. AI is also being used in healthcare and finance and even transportation.
So we're talking about more than just convenience here, right? This stuff has real-world applications with serious implications.
Exactly. Like, let's take healthcare, for example.
Mm-hmm.
AI is being used to diagnose diseases, sometimes even more accurately than humans can. There's one company that uses AI to look at medical images, and it can detect early signs of lung cancer, like sometimes even before it's visible to the human eye.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What about finance? I know AI is already used for things like fraud detection, but what else can it do?
Oh, a lot more. It can be used to personalize investment strategies and manage risk, and even predict market trends. Some financial institutions are using AI systems to analyze tons of data to try and find investment opportunities that humans might miss.
So it's like having a superpowered financial advisor.
In a way, yeah. But it's important to remember that AI is just a tool, and like any tool, it has its limitations.
Right. We can't forget about self-driving cars either. AI is obviously the driving force behind all that. So
Yeah.
what's the latest on self-driving cars?
Self-driving technology is advancing super fast. There are companies testing fully autonomous vehicles in cities around the world right now. And some experts think that self-driving cars will be totally normal in the next decade.
That's going to completely change transportation as we know it, and urban planning too. But I can also see some potential challenges with everyone suddenly using self-driving cars.
Of course, there are still a lot of technical things to figure out, like making sure that these systems are safe and reliable no matter what the weather or traffic conditions are like.
And what about all the social and ethical issues? How do we deal with job displacement in the transportation sector if everyone's using self-driving cars? Or how do we make sure that these systems are used ethically and responsibly?
Those are important questions that we need to be thinking about, especially as AI keeps developing.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the impact of AI on the job market. I know a lot of people are worried that robots are going to take over all the jobs, but what's the reality?
It's a lot more nuanced than that. AI will definitely automate certain tasks, which could displace some workers, but at the same time, it's also creating brand new job opportunities in fields like AI development and data science and AI ethics.
So it's not just about jobs going away, it's also about new jobs being created and even new industries emerging.
Exactly. The key takeaway here is that you have to be willing to adapt your skills. Lifelong learning is going to be super important in the age of AI. You can't just learn one skill set and expect to be set for life anymore.
So what specific skills should people be focusing on to thrive in this new AI-powered world?
Things like critical thinking and problem solving and creativity and emotional intelligence, these are the skills that are going to be in high demand because they're a lot harder for AI to replicate.
So it's not just about learning how to code then, it's about developing these uniquely human skills that AI just can't do yet.
Exactly. And that's where education and training come in. We need to be teaching people the skills they'll need to succeed in this new world.
Right. Okay, so one thing I thought was really interesting in the research was the idea that AI isn't just processing information, it's actually manipulating it. It's manipulating the information networks that we rely on to understand the world.
Right. It's not just about robots taking over physical tasks anymore. It's about AI getting into the systems that shape how we think and what we believe, and even how our political systems work.
So you're saying it could have an impact on things like public opinion and even elections.
Exactly. Think about social media. We know that social media already plays a big role in shaping public opinion. But what happens when AI can be used to manipulate those platforms?
Right.
Spreading misinformation or amplifying certain ideas. It could have a huge impact on how we make decisions both individually and as a society.
That's a little scary. What can we do about that?
Well, one thing we can do is focus on developing critical thinking skills and media literacy. It's more important now than ever to be able to tell the difference between real information and fake information, especially since AI can be used to create really convincing deepfakes and other types of manipulated content.
So we have to be more careful about what we believe, especially online. We can't just take everything at face value.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the potential downsides of AI, but we shouldn't forget about all the incredible good that it can do.
Absolutely. AI has the potential to revolutionize things like healthcare and scientific research, and it can make our lives more efficient. And it can even help us tackle big challenges like climate change.
But if only a few big companies control all the most powerful AI, wouldn't that be a problem?
Yes, that is definitely a concern. We need to make sure there's competition and that AI is being developed in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Okay. Well, it's clear that AI is a powerful force that's already having a huge impact on our world, and it's only going to become more important in the future.
Definitely. And it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create with AI.
One of the articles talked about the idea of decentralizing data ownership to create a better AI future. What do they mean by that?
It means that instead of just a few big corporations controlling all the data, we need to find ways to share data more widely so that more people can benefit from AI, and so that a more diverse group of people can contribute to its development.
That makes sense. Okay, let's go back to the impact of AI on the job market for a minute. We talked about jobs being lost, but you also said there would be new opportunities created.
Right. As AI takes over some of the more routine tasks, humans will be freed up to focus on more creative and strategic work. Jobs that require skills like critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence, and adaptability are going to be even more valuable in the future.
So again, it's not just about learning to code, it's about developing those uniquely human skills. One of the things that came up a lot in the research was the need for accountability when it comes to AI. Like when we're integrating AI into our workflows and things like that, why is that so important?
Because if we just throw AI into the mix without thinking about it carefully, it could actually make things worse. Like it could decrease worker performance or morale. It's really important to use AI strategically, making sure it's complementing human skills and helping us do our jobs better, not just replacing human workers altogether.
Right, we need to find that sweet spot where AI and human intelligence can work together.
Exactly.
Okay, I know a lot of our listeners are interested in investing, and there's been a lot of hype around investing in AI companies lately. But it's not without its risks, right?
Not at all. While there's a lot of potential in the AI market, it's important for investors to do their research. They need to understand the company's business model and growth strategy, and they need to be aware of the risks involved.
And diversification is key.
Absolutely. It's about finding a balance between potential rewards and smart risk management.
Okay, so let's get specific. Can you give us some concrete examples of how AI is already changing different industries?
Sure. Let's take the retail industry, for example. AI is already changing the way we shop online. Things like recommendation systems, which are used by companies like Amazon and Netflix. They analyze our past purchases and viewing habits to try to figure out what we might like. And these systems are getting really good at it. Sometimes it's like they know us better than we know ourselves.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of freaky sometimes. And it's not just recommendations. AI is also being used to set prices and manage inventory.
Exactly. It can even personalize the entire shopping experience.
Wow. What about marketing?
AI is huge in marketing, too. There are all sorts of AI-powered tools that can analyze huge amounts of data about customer behavior, so marketers can target their campaigns more effectively. And they can even create personalized messages for each individual customer.
So it's like taking targeted advertising to a whole other level.
Right.
What about some of the other industries, like education and transportation and entertainment?
Okay, well, in education, AI has the potential to completely change the way we teach and learn. It can be used to personalize learning experiences for each student, and it can automate things like grading, so teachers have more time to focus on other things. Imagine a world where every student has access to their own personal AI tutor, who can adapt to their learning style and help them learn at their own pace.
That would be amazing. It's like having a private tutor for every student.
Exactly. And AI can also help teachers by freeing up their time so they can focus on things like mentoring students and leading discussions.
So it's not about replacing teachers with robots. It's about using AI to make teaching more effective.
Exactly.
What about transportation? We already talked about self-driving cars, but are there other ways AI is impacting that industry?
Sure. AI can be used to optimize traffic flow and improve public transportation. Some cities are already using AI systems to manage traffic lights and reduce congestion, and others are using AI to plan more efficient bus and train routes.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then there's the entertainment industry. AI is being used to create more immersive and personalized experiences.
Like what?
Well, it can be used to develop video games with incredibly realistic graphics and storylines that adapt to the player's choices. And it can be used to create personalized music recommendations, and even to compose original music.
Wow.
AI is even being used to create special effects for movies and TV shows.
It's like AI is becoming this ultimate creative partner.
Right.
So we're just scratching the surface of what AI can do.
Exactly. As AI continues to develop, we can expect to see even more incredible applications.
But as we've been talking about, there are also some serious risks and challenges that come with AI.
Right.
So it's important to think about how we can develop and use AI responsibly.
Absolutely. It's up to us to make sure that AI is used for good and that it benefits everyone.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the potential downsides of AI, like job displacement and the risk of a few companies having too much control. But to end on a positive note, what are some of the most promising ways AI could be used to make the world a better place?
Okay, well, in healthcare, AI has the potential to diagnose diseases more accurately and develop new treatments. It could even personalize healthcare plans based on each individual's DNA. And in the field of climate change, AI could be used to develop renewable energy sources, and maybe even to predict and mitigate natural disasters. And in education, we've talked about how AI could personalize learning and make education more accessible to everyone.
That's incredible. It sounds like AI really does have the potential to solve some of the biggest problems facing humanity.
It does, but it's up to us to make sure that happens.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up this first part of our deep dive into AI.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about how AI is already being used, its impact on different industries, the potential benefits and risks, and the importance of responsible AI development.
It's been a great conversation.
In the next part, we're going to delve a little deeper into the technical side of AI.
Right. We'll talk about different types of AI, the role of machine learning, and some of the key challenges in AI research and development.
I'm looking forward to it. But for now, we'll take a short break. Be sure to join us for part 2, where we'll continue our exploration of this amazing technology. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Ian Okieng AI, for more AI content and tutorials. See you soon.
Welcome back to the Before AGI podcast. So, like we promised, let's get a little more technical and talk about the nuts and bolts of AI.
All right, let's geek out a bit. I noticed in the research that there was a distinction between rule-based AI and machine learning.
Yeah, those are the two main types of AI, and they're fundamentally different.
Can you explain the difference? Like, what is rule-based AI exactly?
Rule-based AI is pretty much what it sounds like. It's all about following predefined rules. Kind of like a recipe. If you have the right ingredients and you follow the steps, you get the expected outcome. It works well for tasks that have clear rules, like sorting data or automating simple processes.
So it's a very logical, step-by-step approach. But what are its limitations?
Well, the biggest limitation is that it's not very flexible. Rule-based systems can only handle the specific situations they're programmed for. If something unexpected comes up, something that's not in the rule book, they can't really deal with it.
That makes sense. So that's where machine learning comes in, right? It's more adaptable.
Exactly. Machine learning is all about learning from data. Think of it like teaching a child to recognize a cat. You wouldn't give them a list of rules about whiskers and meows, would you?
Yeah.
You'd show them a bunch of pictures of cats and they'd eventually figure it out on their own.
So machine learning is like that. The AI looks at tons of data and figures out the patterns on its own.
Exactly. Like those facial recognition systems we talked about earlier, they're trained on millions of images of faces, so they can learn to recognize different features and distinguish one person from another. And the more data they're fed, the better they get.
And machine learning is the technology behind some of the most impressive AI achievements. Like when AI beat the world champion at Go, that really complex strategy game.
Right. Rule-based AI would be totally lost playing a game like Go. There are just too many possible moves. But machine learning can actually analyze those possibilities, learn from past games, and come up with winning strategies.
It's incredible how far machine learning has come. And I've heard there are different types of machine learning too, right?
Yep, there are a few different types, and they each have their own strength. There's supervised learning, which is like the cat example we talked about. You give the AI labeled data, like pictures of cats and dogs, and it learns to classify new images based on that training.
So it's learning under supervision. That makes sense. What about unsupervised learning?
Unsupervised learning is more like giving the AI a puzzle without the picture on the box. It has to figure out the patterns and relationships in the data on its own. It's often used for clustering data or finding hidden connections.
It's like the AI is a detective uncovering hidden clues. Is there another type?
Yeah. There's also reinforcement learning. This is like teaching a dog new tricks. You reward the AI for good behavior and you penalize it for bad behavior. So the AI learns through trial and error, trying to maximize its rewards. This is how AI can master games like Go and even complex video games.
It's amazing how these different types of machine learning are being used for so many different things.
Absolutely. And there's another really important concept we need to talk about: deep learning.
Deep learning, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That term comes up a lot. What makes it so special?
Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks, which are inspired by the human brain. These networks have layers upon layers of interconnected nodes, which is where the deep comes from.
So it's like a super complex network that's capable of learning really intricate patterns.
Exactly. Deep learning is especially good at things like image recognition, natural language processing, and speech synthesis. It's driving a lot of the big breakthroughs we're seeing in AI today.
Deep learning really is a major force in the AI revolution.
It really is. And as these deep learning models become even more sophisticated and easier to use, I think we'll see even more groundbreaking applications in the years to come.
So we've talked a lot about AI and machine learning and all these different types, but one thing that keeps coming up is the importance of data. It seems like data is the fuel that powers these systems.
You're absolutely right. Data is crucial. The algorithms we use for AI and machine learning are only as good as the data they're trained on. It's like trying to bake a cake with bad ingredients. You won't get a good cake no matter how good your recipe is.
Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right. So what are some of the challenges when it comes to AI and data? Well, one challenge is simply getting enough data. AI systems, especially the deep learning models, need tons of data to train effectively. And in some areas, like healthcare, it can be really hard to get large, high-quality data sets.
And there's also the problem of bias in data, right? If the data used to train an AI system is biased, the AI will be biased too.
Yeah, that's a really important point, especially when you think about applications like hiring or lending or even criminal justice. If an AI system is trained on biased data, it could make unfair decisions.
So it's not just about having lots of data. It's about having the right kind of data. Data that's representative and unbiased. How can we make sure that happens?
Well, it's a tough challenge. We need to be really careful about where we get our data from, and we need to clean the data and make sure it's accurate. And we also need to develop techniques that can help reduce bias in the algorithms themselves.
So it's about being responsible and ethical in how we collect, process, and use data for AI. What other challenges are there?
Another challenge is data privacy. A lot of AI systems rely on personal data, and it's really important to handle that data ethically and responsibly. We need strong privacy laws and regulations, and we need to develop AI systems that are designed with privacy in mind.
So it's a balancing act between using data to power AI and protecting people's privacy.
Exactly. And another challenge is data security. AI systems can be targets for cyber attacks, so we need strong security measures to protect the systems themselves and all the data they contain.
It's like a constant arms race. As AI gets more sophisticated, so do the threats.
That's true. We always have to be thinking ahead and improving our security to stay one step ahead.
Well, this has been a really in-depth look at the technical side of AI. We've talked about the differences between rule-based AI and machine learning, and we've explored the world of deep learning. And we've talked about the challenges of data, quality, bias, privacy, and security.
It's been a great overview of how AI works.
And it sets the stage for our next discussion, where we'll explore what the future of AI might hold. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Before AGI podcast. We spent the last two parts of this deep dive really getting into the nitty-gritty of AI, like the real-world applications and then all the technical details. But now it's time to look ahead. What does the future hold for AI?
The future of AI, well, it's a topic that gets people excited but also a little nervous, right? It just seems like there are so many possibilities, but also some potential risks,
Yeah, totally. Based on all the research we've done, what are the biggest trends that you see? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, one of the most interesting predictions I keep seeing is that AI is just going to keep getting more and more powerful, exponentially more powerful. We're already seeing breakthroughs happening faster than ever before, and I don't see any reason why that would slow down.
So you're saying AI is going to become even smarter, even more sophisticated the next few years?
Definitely. The advancements in computing power and the amount of data we have available and the way algorithms are improving, it's all contributing to this rapid progress we're seeing.
So then the question becomes, will AI eventually become smarter than humans? I know that's a question that comes up a lot in science fiction, but is it actually a real possibility?
Well, that's the big debate, isn't it? Like the idea of artificial general intelligence, or AGI as they call it. It basically means an AI that's as smart as a human, across the board,
Yeah.
not just in one specific area. Some experts think it's just a matter of time, while others think human intelligence is way too complex to ever truly replicate.
It's hard to even imagine what that would be like. So let's say, for argument's sake, that AGI does become a reality. What are some of the good things and the bad things that could happen?
Okay, well, on the positive side, AGI could potentially solve some of the biggest problems we're facing, like climate change, disease, poverty, you name it. Imagine AI that could help us create clean energy, cure diseases that are incurable today, even design economic systems that work for everyone.
It sounds almost too good to be true. But I'm sure there are also some serious risks, right?
Of course, one of the biggest worries is that AI will take away a lot of jobs. Like, if AI can do most of the jobs that humans do now, what happens to all those people? It could lead to mass unemployment and a lot of social unrest.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. And then there's the question of control. Like, how do we make sure that these super intelligent AI systems don't turn against us? How do we make sure they stay aligned with human values?
That's the million-dollar question, right? If we're going to create AGI, we need to figure out how to keep it safe. We need really strong safety measures, ethical guidelines, and some kind of governance framework to make sure it's developed responsibly.
It sounds like this is something that everyone needs to be involved in, not just AI researchers and developers, but policymakers and the public too.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about how AI is going to impact specific industries.
AI is going to change pretty much every industry in some way. We've already talked about healthcare, transportation, and entertainment. But it's also going to have a big impact on finance, manufacturing, agriculture, education, you name it.
Let's start with finance. How is AI going to change the way we manage money and invest and do business?
Well, AI is already being used to automate a lot of financial tasks, like trading stocks, detecting fraud, assessing risk, and even giving personalized financial advice. There are these things called robo-advisors, which are basically AI-powered financial advisors, and they're becoming more and more popular.
So AI is going to make finance more efficient, but also more accessible to more people.
Exact.
What about manufacturing?
In manufacturing, AI is going to be all about automation and efficiency. AI-powered robots can do a lot of the tasks that are dangerous or repetitive for humans, and they can work 24/7 without getting tired. AI can also be used for things like predictive maintenance, so you can identify potential problems before they happen, which saves a lot of money in downtime.
So it's all about improving productivity and reducing costs.
Right.
What about agriculture? That seems like a pretty traditional industry, but I'm sure AI has a role to play there too.
Oh yeah, definitely. AI can be used to optimize crop yields and monitor soil conditions. There are even AI-powered robots that can plant and harvest crops.
Wow, so AI is even coming for the farmers.
Well, not necessarily replacing them, but definitely helping them to be more efficient and sustainable.
What about education?
We've talked a little bit about this already, but AI has the potential to really personalize education. Like, imagine a world where every student has access to an AI tutor that can adapt to their individual needs and learning style.
That would be amazing.
AI can also help teachers by grading assignments and providing feedback, so they can spend more time working with students one-on-one.
It sounds like AI could really transform education for the better.
I think so.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential impact of AI on a lot of different industries, but there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that's ethics.
Yeah, ethics is hugely important when it comes to AI.
What are some of the biggest ethical concerns?
Well, bias is a big one.
We've talked about that a little bit already.
We need to make sure that AI systems are fair and unbiased, that they don't discriminate against certain groups of people.
And how do we do that?
Well, it starts with the data.
The data that's used to train these systems needs to be representative of the whole population.
And we also need to develop algorithms that are transparent and accountable.
So we can understand how they're making decisions.
Right.
What about privacy? How do we protect people's privacy when AI systems are collecting so much personal data?
That's a big challenge. We need strong privacy laws and regulations to limit how companies can use our data. And we need to develop AI systems that are designed with privacy in mind, like systems that minimize the amount of data they collect and keep that data secure.
Another ethical question is what happens to human autonomy? Like, as AI gets more powerful, will it start making decisions for us? Will it control our lives?
That's a valid concern. We need to be very careful about how we design and use AI. We need to make sure that AI is augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them. AI should be a tool that empowers us to make better decisions, not a system that makes decisions for us.
So it's all about finding the right balance between AI and human control.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into AI.
We have
We've talked about the current state of AI, its potential impact on the world,
the possibility of AGI.
and the ethical considerations we need to be thinking about.
It's been a really thought-provoking conversation.
And it's a conversation that we all need to be having. AI is a powerful technology that's already changing our lives in so many ways. And it's only going to become more important in the future.
Absolutely.
So we need to be thinking about the future we want to create with AI. And we need to work together to make sure it's a future that benefits everyone.
I agree.
Thank you for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you're interested in learning more about AI, please subscribe to the Before AGI podcast. We'll be back soon with more deep dives into this fascinating and rapidly evolving field. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Ian Okshiang AI, for more AI content and tutorials. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.